But without further ado, super excited to introduce Lightship 3.0, and we have a special video to kind of showcase how our managed partners have been building with Lightship 3.0 and some of the new capabilities that we have. So let's take a moment to watch this video. Amazing. I'm really proud of all the experiences that you saw in the Sizzle World today. And I'm really excited to announce our speaker who has been part of making sure those managed partners successfully launch their apps. In this session, we're going to be joined by Dan Morris, Director of Developer Relations at Niantic. And he has experience working with several of managed partners, especially the examples that you just saw in that video. He's experienced in helping agencies and studios launch commercially successful native AR applications powered by Lightship. So happy to introduce Dan to speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Chanel. I'm Dan. I'm Director of Developer Relations at Niantic, just like it says on the screen. I'm very happy to be so. Yeah, I have the great privilege of working with many dozens of developers, probably including some of you, who are at work on a Lightship powered app. And I'm personally very excited about what Niantic has to offer to AR and to location-based gaming and entertainment and education and some of the different things that we're going to look at later on in this presentation. Very happy to have some of your time today. So look, like at the heart of everything we do is Niantic's map, and it's probably what we are, most well known for, and it's the core technology that is going to power everything we offer developers, from here on out. If you're not aware, be aware that we are offering both a Unity-based solution for developing, heavy-duty mobile apps, and also a web AR solution, Eighth Wall, that both utilize the same map and many of the same core technologies. And the idea here is to continue building the only pedestrian-based, human-centric 3D map of the world. We like to say that our friends at Google and other companies are very good at driving lots of cars around the streets and making a map of streets, and you can see storefronts in that map, and it's cool, and we all use it. But only Niantic has built a very powerful pedestrian level map of the world. And this is something that people with a phone in their hand can actually use to traverse the planet and find points of interest. And for you as developers to build on top of that map all kinds of amazing experiences to be enjoyed at the human level, just moving around on foot or on wheels. But that's informing our AR development kit on the Unity side and our web AR solution on the Eighth Wall side. Same map. There are four technologies that are really the pillars of our Unity SDK, which is where we're going to be focusing on today. And I'll just start with contextual awareness on the left here. I'm always making the joke that it is relatively easy to go into like a Lens Studio or Spark or something like that, and just like slap a banana on top of the Eiffel Tower. Like we can do that. It is very simple to do. But what Niantic offers is just levels kind of deeper in terms of what's possible. So on the left here, you're seeing our semantic segmentation at work. We don't just tell the difference between, say, a building and the sky. In this demo here, we can tell trees from sky, We can tell clouds from cloudless sky. We have dozens of semantic categories. We can tell the difference between lawn and cement on the ground. We can tell what's water and what isn't. In this demo here, someone is actually harvesting wood from the trees and is harvesting clouds from the cloudy sky. This is leading edge semantic segmentation, leading edge contextual awareness. We really understand what's happening in front of the camera in ways that no one else does. Multiplayer is a major focus of ours, and none of this is really exciting to us if it can't be experienced by people together. And so you're seeing here a demonstration of folks who are co-located and synchronized in terms of the state of the game that they're playing. And, you know, we see over and over again, and many of you have helped to kind of demonstrate what's exciting about this. When two or more people are experiencing something in a synchronized state together at the same location, that's where a lot of the magic of AR is expressed. Another proprietary system of ours is our visual positioning system, the VPS. And this is one of the things we're proudest of, because we have millions of objects in the real world, permanent objects that don't move, such as the statue in the park that you're seeing in this demo here. And when you're using our SDK, the camera just recognizes this stuff and automatically allows you to draw 3D art and attach it to the physical object with centimeter precision. And we'll show you another example a bit later of how to actually layer the 3D on top of the real world object very closely. We call this the marriage of atoms and bits, and it's really a breakthrough. This is an exciting step forward for AR, just as a technology. The ability to anchor content this precisely at real world locations is something that we're proud to offer. And it's basically the very special part of this map that we're talking about. And that brings us finally to this image you're seeing at the right. Our Maps SDK, our map is now just a tool available to you. It can be reskinned to look the way you want. It can turn dark, it can turn light, it can be, you know, very cartoonish, it can be very serious. It's really up to you. The map is now just a tool for you to draw on at many different zoom levels, and with very high accuracy in terms of the cities and towns and villages that it reflects. And then the cool bit, of course, is that on top of that map are many millions of specific locations that allow you to build to our VPS system with very high precision. And the idea here is to just provide a very flexible toolbox to you to basically make whatever you want at each level of this map. So just to take you through a flow here, at the left, you're seeing the map level. So we're looking down at the 2.5D map. And this is where you guide users around. A player, you know, is oriented in their real space in whatever city they happen to be in, and you can direct them to the next point in the adventure, which is what you see in the middle frame here. While people are on their way between way spots, you can use AR very creatively to augment their experience as they move. And then finally, once they get to a destination at far right, some of you have maybe seen this demo before, but that anchor in the foreground is a real object. That is a physical, real anchor statue on a rooftop in San Francisco. And you can see a very powerful AR effect. That's the very famous electronic musician deadmau5 up in that ship. And deadmau5 throws a chain out, and that virtual chain appears to connect with centimeter precision. You can actually see the chain appears to connect with the loop in the physical anchor. So now if you look at all three of these kind of in a row, you can get a sense of, you know, how Niantic style development is now available to you just through Unity extensions. You can invoke our map at far left, skin it, make that map look however you want to support whatever game or app it is you're making. You can use our meshing and our depth and our semantic segmentation to augment the whole world as the player moves through real space with their phone. And then finally, when they get to one of our many points of interest, that's where you can really go wild and remotely author content to these spots with very, very precise effect. So I mentioned the multiplayer is extremely important to us. We actually think that the experience of doing this together, whether synchronously or asynchronously, is kind of at the heart of what makes Niantic's technology so cool. So we call this feature set shared AR, and it is refined now to a point where it's just ready to go out of the box for you to start making multi-user experiences on top of our map. And I'm really pleased with the version at the left is Niantic employees messing around in our headquarters. And the demo that they're showing here was built in a very short period of time, just to show you how quickly you can get going with shared AR. But then at the right is a much more robust experience from a developer outside of Niantic. It's a developer called Hot Dark Matter. It's an app that you can actually download now in app stores called Matter AR. And this app, maybe we can run this video again, Chanel, real quick on the right here. Yeah, thanks. This is basically like laser tag, only it's using not only AR for the multiplayer battle, but it's also AR forts. People can just like sort of put blocks down and play laser tag together in a very quick AR multiplayer experience. And honestly, this video doesn't really do it justice. This is actually a lot of fun to play with three players at a VPS powered location. And it's just a great example of how multiplayer really makes AR a super great experience. I should add, by the way, previous to ARDK 3.0, you could not use netcode or other generic Unity multiplayer networking. But one of the big advances in ARDK 3.0 is that now you can. It supports netcode, and all of this multiplayer functionality is just available through core Unity networking ideas. So, like, what kinds of things do we hope to see made? I mean, games obviously, but I'm also just really interested in immersive learning. You're seeing here a demo video from a Lightship developer called the Kinfolk Collective out in New York City. They currently have AR work on display at MoMA in New York, which is the first time that that's ever happened, and that is super impressive. Kinfolk is going to be a series of monuments to Black and Brown history, and using our VPS, some of these monuments will be centimeter precise overlays on top of very specific Niantic scanned locations out in the real world. They're launching those VPS monuments this week, so you'll be able to see them in New York City and in Philadelphia, which I just think is super great. I mean, this is a sort of living art museum out in the streets, and it wouldn't be possible but for the visual positioning system that we offer with this level of precision. And there's lots of cool stuff being done in terms of lifestyle and entertainment. This is an artist that I've had the great fortune to hang out with a little bit. He's called JR. He's also based in New York. And he's just a wonderful portrait photographer. He's a street artist, and he's famous for leaving giant murals of portraits that he sort of pastes up on walls and on sidewalks and streets and so on. And JR is very fired up about AR because it as you can see in the video, it allows anybody who's got his app to take a selfie. It then gets sort of digitally printed in JR's style, his black and white style. And then at a VPS powered location, the player can add their selfie to an interactive mural at a real location. And it's permanent. Like, thanks to VPS, it's permanently there. There's a bunch of these JR murals in New York City right now. And this is just a great example of a wonderful interactive way for people to creatively get involved together in a collaborative real world AR art exhibition. And then something else we want to show you is something that I sort of care about a lot is just wellness and mindfulness. And here we want to show you a developer called Trip, Trip with 2 Ps. They are well known in the VR space because they have a very successful meditation app on VR headsets, and they are now in development on this app that you can see here, which is a mobile Lightship powered AR version of their Trip experience. And the idea here is really pretty wonderful. It's to create kind of a meditation sanctuary in your home and in public places. And the public ones will be collaborative. And the idea is to drop, 3D art and anchored 3D audio so that you can do sort of visualized guided meditations with the help of AR. This is a very ambitious partner. They are building on a pretty substantial success from VR, and we're very happy that they've chosen us as the development solution to bring their vision into real world spaces. This is one of the things I'm most excited about, and I have high hopes for the AR version of Trip launching next year. Okay, so that's an overview. If you've got questions, and I certainly hope you do, I'll be available to you, for the rest of this time. But for now, I'm going to hand the mic back to Chanel to talk about the Real World AR Challenge.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. I love when Dan speaks because he brings a really new perspective that developers like yourself can probably consider. And he has lots of experience working with partners to understand what works for people and what will be successful, especially with AR. Super excited to talk more about the challenge. Please, if you have any questions for Dan in the chat or the Zoom Q&A, please leave them in there. He'll be able to answer them during the audience Q&A section of this talk, especially if you have questions around like what would he want to see or Niantic's want to see when judging, or what's kind of feasible with our AR capabilities today. But yeah, let's take a moment and I have a special video that we worked on to kind of get you excited for the Real World AR Challenge. So let's take a look at it together.
We're dancing in the bright light. We're dancing in the bright light. We're dancing in the bright light.
Awesome. If you guys can see, the video highlighted 3 of our categories: immersive learning, lifestyle and entertainment, and health and wellness, the exact categories that Dan just covered. And I'm going to talk more about that regarding the challenge. So we have several of these categories: immersive learning, which covers arts, culture, education, workplace training, and more. We just kind of want to give you a few examples of what that can mean to us, as well as retail, food and beverage, film and television, and games, of course, because we're Niantic under lifestyle and entertainment, and then medicine, social, mindfulness, and then anything else that kind of falls under health and wellness apps. And these subcategories will receive $1,500 worth in prizes. And really excited to talk about the grand prize. So the grand prize can be anything within those 3 categories of immersive learning, lifestyle, entertainment, or health and wellness. But then it'll come with a $3,000 cash prize, a spotlight blog, and featured on our socials, meeting with Niantic staff, because we really want to help you take this project to the next level. It may just be a prototype or a demo for the challenge, but we really hope that you can continue to build on this, as well as an opportunity to work on a sample project with Niantic. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask in the Zoom Q&A. Judging criteria is that we have these 4 main criteria that we will be looking at. We have a panel of diverse Niantic judges who will be reviewing your submissions. We're looking at innovation, specifically, how are you using Lightship ARDK? Are you using one feature? Are you using more feature? Are you combining other tools like VPS and maps to really enhance your experience? And also we're looking at real world utilities. So we call this a real world AR challenge because although we know that we excel at games, we really want to see apps where you can use that can tackle a variety of issues in your daily life, and apps that people would want to revisit over and over again, that provide real value and utility to daily users. And then, of course, Niantic's mission. Our mission is to get people out to explore the world together, and you can see that through our games like Pokemon Go, Ingress, Peridot, and Monster Hunter. But how can you do that in your app? Is it something that utilizes VPS or shared AR? I think that you guys can kind of think of those solutions and help us kind of envision what you want that to look like too. And then completeness. We know that this is just a challenge and we're not expecting a full-blown app that's going to be launched on the App Store anytime soon. But when we talk about this, we're thinking about, is this just a straight like gameplay mechanic demo, or do you have any splash screens or onboarding or some kind of UI that helps us really think about the user experience? So that's what we mean by completeness. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask in the Zoom Q&A or reach out in the Discord later on. And a lot of you guys are probably curious about how do I submit my project. Well, if you visit lightship.dev/challenges, you'll find our itch.io page. And all projects are due December 4th at 8 a.m. Pacific time in California. And what you will need to submit is a 60-second demo video showcasing your project. We really want to see it in play, and then a link to your Git project or your code-based zip file. And if you do provide your code-based zip file, if it's relevant, please include a README file as well. We just want to test out and see if it works like you actually say it does. And yeah, really, if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask in the Discord later on. But if you go to the itch.io page, we do have a submissions guide and tutorial on, and we also have a guide on how you can create a really effective demo video. So make sure you check those resources out as well. And I just want to go over some FAQs that I get a lot about challenges. So how many people can be in a team? If you read our rules, you would see that we allow 4 people max in a team. And I know it's really successful teams have a diverse skill set. Maybe you have a Unity dev, maybe you have a UX person, or you have a 3D modeler in your group, or producer, project manager. I think everyone who's just interested in AR has a role in this challenge, and I hope that you can form teams to make sure that you come up with very well diverse teams. And yep, and then does everyone need to create an itch.io account? So no, you do not. If you just have one person on your team make an account and submit on the behalf of your team, that's perfect. There will be fields during the submission process where you will list out everyone's name, and that's where you can include everyone. Happy to answer more about that later. Can I reuse a project? For example, we're running the play crafting Niantic Lightship sample project initiative right now, and not everyone received a grant for that. So this challenge is really an opportunity for those who probably want to build on Lightship but didn't get a grant. You can continue to build for both, but we would want your project to be significantly different from the play crafting sample project. You can build on top of it, but it should be different because we want you to continue to build and make new experiences. And then why is my country ineligible to participate? There's a few countries in our rules and eligibility that cannot participate. And unfortunately, that's not something that Niantic chose. That's up to the local government and their laws and policies around gambling, and sometimes giveaways, contests, and sweepstakes fall under that. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me in Discord. Happy to explain more and maybe look at your specific situation as well. But let's go more into the challenge programming. We have lots of events to help set you up for success. So later on this week, on Thursday, November 2nd at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to have an ideation session. We're inviting Mike Stein, one of our UX engineers who has extensively worked on Lightship, to hold a whiteboarding session for you. He's going to talk about where AR may be useful in your app and where AR may not be useful, because we want to make sure that you're using Lightship in a meaningful way. We're going to brainstorm use cases around the 3 different categories. And it's also an opportunity for you to meet other devs, because it's going to be very audience driven. you're going to be able to talk to devs, share your ideas, and bounce your ideas off each other and provide feedback. So I hope that you can check this out. This would be really, really helpful for you. And whether you're a beginner to Lightship or you're a returning user, this is going to be your intensive deep dive into Lightship 3.0. It's perfect if you want to learn about the features and updates. It's definitely more of a technical walkthrough. You're going to get started with a Unity project and learn how you can bring ARDK features on top of AR Foundation. We'll go over some kind of features like object placement and even give you a tour of our geospatial browser if you're interested in how to get started with VPS. And we'll also just give a high-level overview of our other developer tools like our Lightship Maps SDK. So make sure you RSVP for this. You can take your phones out right now and to scan this QR code if you're interested in participating next week, Tuesday, November 7th. This is a longer session. It's going to be 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And then the week after, at Niantic, we love experiences that get people outside and exploring, but there are a lot of UX considerations, especially safety considerations around location-based AR experiences. So we invited our stellar UX team to talk about UX principles, and they'll be examining use cases across industry verticals with Eighth Wall, and also how you can focus on the returning user journey with Peridot. And this will be really important for apps like lifestyle entertainment, where you want people to use it over and over again. How can you get people coming back to your app each time? And that's going to be November 14th. Please make sure you attend that session as well. And then in addition to the 3 sessions I mentioned, we have 2 weeks of project consultation. So starting next week, you actually can use Candidly link and sign up for a one-on-one project consultation with a Niantic engineer or product manager. This session is to help you really bounce your ideas off our team and understand, is your project idea feasible within the challenge timeline? You have about a month and 4 days to build. Maybe our project consultation can help you scale down to an MVP. And also for the last 2 weeks of the challenge, we'll have one-on-one developer support engineer sessions where you can get technical support from our team like Roberto, Jesus, Maverick, Stacy, some other people you've talked to, probably their support. And we'll have a celebration showcase afterwards so that you can celebrate all the hard work you did and showcase your project to the peers as well as our judges. We have a super jam-packed calendar, so make sure that you RSVP for these events. And if you can't attend, don't worry. We will have these recordings on YouTube later on and a playlist available so that you can get all caught up. Aside from our events, we actually have a forums channel on Discord. I made this specially for you to seek feedback or ask questions to other developers. For technical questions and support tickets, please make sure you're still using the I'm stuck or help channels in Discord. This challenges forum is more for team forming and ideation, for you to give progress updates to other developers and get feedback if you like. And then all of our resources. So I'm going to drop these links in the chat here, but please check out lightship.dev if you haven't already. If you're attending that workshop next week, you want to make sure you have a lightship.dev account as well as a few other things downloaded. Check out our documentation if you're curious about our features. It's more of technical documentation if you're really curious about, for example, how does semantic segmentation actually work? We have a whole breakdown of that in our documentation, as well as our Git link. Make sure you access that if you want to get started with 3.0 today. And please join our Discord and be part of a community. It's the best way to stay updated with all of our upcoming events. But really excited now to jump into questions. So remember that please submit them through the Zoom Q&A, upload questions. And yeah, let's kind of get started with Zoom Q&A now. I'm going to stop my screen share and kind of look at the questions that we have. And I saw one question earlier, and I think maybe Dan.
There's a lot of good ones already.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones, Dan. I saw one that I kind of wanted you to answer live, just because I think that our tool set is so comprehensive and in a great way, but it can be a lot for newcomers who don't really understand all of our tools, especially maps. Can you kind of explain to the audience here, if they're completely new to our Maps SDK, like how is it different from Google Maps?
Yeah, specifically, I see this first question that we got from Rob Green, and thank you for it. Is there a way to help improve the actual map, and where did the data come from in the first place? So I'll answer those in reverse order. This data came from our games. Pokemon Go is the biggest contributor, but our other games contribute to the map as well. And as people traverse the map and scan locations for Pokestops and gyms and stuff like that, we've built over time this crazy good map of the world built by individual people moving around on foot, in wheelchairs, on horses, mostly not in cars. And so that's how we ended up with this very unique human level map of the world. Now, you ask if there's a way to help improve it. Yeah, one of the awesome things about this SDK is it you and your app's users can scan and upload a location to our system and add to that map. And you would do that because you were interested in specific locations that aren't on that map already, or maybe you're aware that a location has changed and doesn't look or act the same as the point of interest that's on our map. So you would just send a new scan. Chanel's, thank you for helpfully linking to the scanning feature of our map. But I just want to underline for everybody, this is a crucially important and very exciting aspect of this tool, is that this map is being updated all the time, in real time, by all of its users and all of its developers. And that, of course, includes the many millions of people who are playing Pokemon Go all the time. So this human-centric map of the world is kind of being uniquely created by Niantic players, and now it's yours to utilize. So yeah, other providers don't do that. I mentioned before, Google's a very car-centric map, and there are other very car-centric maps. This is the one that takes you off the street and into parks and away from street level. So yeah, we're very excited about the fact that third-party developers like yourselves are going to be able to use this map for your own purposes, and B, contribute to the map that every developer is gonna be able to use.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that answer, Dan. And like Dan said, we really rely on the community to continue to update maps, and it's really hard work. So we really thank everyone involved for doing that. And let's see, some people have questions around pricing, and I'm just gonna kind of jumble this up together, and maybe you can help answer this, Dan. So some people are just curious about fees for downloads regarding image tracking for ARDK or VPS, and also just curious about, is there a different pricing between 2.0 to 3.0? Can help answer that.
Yeah. So there's a pricing page on our website, and I've got it queued up here, so I'll throw this in the chat. Second here. There it is. And the long and short of it, everybody, is that almost every aspect of this solution is free right now. The only thing that we're charging for right now is shared AR beyond 50,000 MAU, which is hopefully we can all agree, a pretty generous free tier for shared AR. Beyond 50,000 MAU for shared AR, we will start charging, just because that's a very expensive thing for us to push on our back end. Beyond that, this whole solution is free for the time being. So yeah, there's no charge for downloads. There's no charge per VPS session or anything like that. Now we will at some point in the future revisit pricing, and we will be very, very loud and clear about it. We are determined not to surprise anybody. We are extra determined not to screw up anybody's business. One of the things I spend a lot of my time on is talking to developers who are working with a client of some kind, or a publisher of some kind. I didn't mention any names, Rob Green. That's for you to you have to fill in those blanks on your own. But we're determined to never ever hose people like that. So we're actually working in very closely with those Lightship developers who have a client to satisfy, just to make sure that we don't, mess up somebody's business plan. So yeah, free for the foreseeable future. We will not change price. We will not add pricing this year. This will not happen in Q4. So yeah, don't no worries about that. I think the earliest we would revisit this would be sometime next year.
Awesome, thank you. And just like Dan said, if anything changes, we want to work with our developers to make sure they have enough communication ahead of time, and we're always happy to support them on a bespoke, like case-by-case situation. So if you have any doubt, just please reach out to us. And I have a question about VPS, and I'm kind of glad that someone asked about this because it's a great way to clarify one of the great things about Lightship VPS. So someone's curious about persistence. If they leave a session and close the app and revisit this and open it up again, like, will they see the content there afterwards?
Yeah, that's the magic of this system, is that it is persistent. You give a very simple instruction through ARDK, and the content is anchored persistently. Anyone who has your app and just aims their camera at the location, it'll just begin. It'll appear. We have a developer actually who has been working on it's like a multi-user sort of Lego set where you are using AR blocks at a real world location together to kind of collaboratively make a voxel construction of some kind. And it's really cool because it's persistent and it's interactive. So anyone who has the app and sees that there's a creation, on the 2D map and walks there, is invited to pick up blocks and start playing around with it. So yeah, the fact that these creations can be both persistent and collaboratively interactive is kind of what's exciting about it. Now, also, if you want to, you can set it so that it is not interactive. We showed you kinfolk a few minutes ago. The historical monuments, those are not going to be interactive in the sense that someone can come along and mess with those for obvious reasons. So it's up to you whether it's interactive or not. But yeah, the persistence of the objects is the thing that I think is so exciting about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to give you a small break, but I'm going to definitely come back to you because there are some questions that I definitely would like you to answer, especially around monetization, the future of what happens after the challenge. But let me answer some questions regarding the challenge. So Rob asked, can you tell me more about the sample project development bonus? So once the winner is selected, we will meet with them, talk about their project, and also ask them if and provide an opportunity for them to work with us on a sample project. This should be meaningful to them as well as the community. And it's really on a case-by-case basis, and we want to make sure that this is bespoke for them as well as really useful for the community. So happy to share that more when the time comes with the winner. So thank you for asking that. And just as usual, we're keeping an eye on community members who really stand out to us, who are really dedicated about helping us grow the community. And aside from these sample projects, we're always trying to look out for freelancers or other creative technologists who we can just work with. So that's just something I wanted to share as well. But thank you for that question. Jamie asked a really good question. Can we enter in more than one category? I noticed that some of the categories can overlap, right? Like a health and wellness app can be a lifestyle app. I think for us, we'll kind of determine which one it falls under most. Obviously, you can choose the multiple tracks too, because it probably will fall under different tracks. But in our rules, we will only be awarding one prize each to each project. For example, if you make a immersive learning app, but it's selected for the grand prize, you're not also going to receive the immersive learning subcategory. It's a way that we want to recognize multiple community developers. However, so yeah, thank you for asking that. And we also have honorable mentions as well. I don't think I mentioned that. We have 2 honorable mentions of $500. That information is on the itch.io page, so you can learn more a bit about that. And the honorable mentions are just kind of generally across all categories. We're not choosing one honorable mention from each category. And then Fraser asked a question about, can the Git project be a private repository? Yes, it can. You can, I'll actually share our email where you can either share that with us directly or provide some type of like code or whatever for us to access that. And we'll kind of work on that on a case by case basis, totally understand that this is your hard work and you don't want it open up the public. Actually, what I think I'll do is that submission field on itch.io is a private submission field. So you can be rest assured that only internal admins will actually see that link. And I'll make sure in the submissions field to kind of put parentheses private so that you're not worried that it's a public field. But there will be public fields on the itch.io submission page because we want other people to view your project. Like, for example, your demo video is going to be a public field. Your project description or inspiration will be a public field. Yep. Thank you for that question. Gavin, great question about demoing VPS. It will be tricky. That's why we're really going to rely on your demo video to showcase how you're using VPS, especially in a location-based way, in a meaningful way. We will still want to look at your code just to make sure it's doing what it says it can do. But yeah, you're right. There's really no way we can check, except if you're in the UK, we do have a London office and I have folks in the UK who might really want to try it out. They can try it out for us. Thank you. And Shauhan's asked, only the residents of these countries are not allowed, not citizens. That's a really tricky wording. So feel free to reach out to us on support on Discord or forums or email, and I'm happy to work that out with you. I'm guessing that you probably are a citizen of a country but live abroad somewhere else. I know other people who have that situation, and yeah, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to talk more about with you on that. Can we send more than one project for the challenge? Yes, you can. I believe in our rules, we have up to 3 project submissions per individual or team. However, apps are hard to build, y'all. If you can do 1, I'll be thankful. If you can do 2, I'll be very, very impressed. If you can do 3 or more, I think we need to kind of, I don't know, get you a job here or something. I'm just kidding. And then, yeah, I'm going to kind of bounce this back off to Daniel, just because I want to make sure we get some other questions. If they're related to the challenge, I may answer them through a type message or towards the end of the call. But Dan, Eli asked a really good question and about monetization. You know, our challenges are a great way to incentivize people to build, and it's a purpose-driven build, but they don't want to just have a project that they worked on a month on and then not continue to develop. Can you kind of explain ways developers can monetize their AR experience, whether that's like direct to consumer or enterprise? And yeah, would love to hear your thoughts.
You bet. Yeah, and the question from Eli is specific to like direct to consumer, not enterprise. And the answer is yes. We have, in particular, we have game developers who are trying to build, you know, Niantic style free to play mobile games, and they're gonna charge in-app purchases, just like you would sort of expect from a free to play mobile game. And you know, I expect them to monetize. Like it's always impossible to predict how successful a mobile game is going to be. It's a very crowded market, and so on. Discovery is, you know, very difficult, but I fully expect the game to make some money from whatever audience that it gathers. So yeah, I mean, I think the sort of like initial use case, or one of the initial use cases for this tech stack was game developers who just said like, okay, I get Pokemon Go, and I have my own idea for a real world AR game on a different theme, a different genre maybe, but yeah, they're gonna go for it. They're making a full scale game, and they're gonna charge for in-app purchases. So I do expect that to monetize. Beyond that, it's hard to say. Like we're still in a very kind of experimental phase for all this. Trip, for example. We showed you Trip, the meditation app for VR and soon for AR. They charge a subscription. So I can't remember off the top of my head how much and I have my Trip hat right here, so it's a shame on me, and I can't remember their subscription price. But they charge a monthly subscription, and that subscription will get you content for both the VR and the AR experience, and they'll be connected. which I think is really cool. They'll be interoperable to an extent, and one account and so on. So that's another way to monetize. Trip is gonna basically add the AR app and its value. Thank you, Chanel. You're so fast and great. $9 a month, 30 a year, or a $100 lifetime subscription. And you know what? Trip is a nice business. It's been around in VR long enough that the subscriptions revenue is like kind of meaningful. Like they're keeping the lights on there. And you know, now they're viewing the Lightship powered AR app as a big value add to make that subscription even more valuable. So that's another way to monetize this stuff. And yeah, I think both these paths are viable. I expect Lightship developers to be making, you know, meaningful revenue for themselves, whether it's with in-app purchases or as part of a subscription package.
Great question. I know a lot of our developers have that question too. So thank you for answering. And yeah, I really like Trip's lifetime one. It's still early in the game, but they're really rewarding people who adopt early. So that's pretty cool. And I have a question from Sam. Are there any tips for accessing our local Lightship communities for those of us with non-technical skill sets, but looking to help developers? Yes, please join our Discord. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. Actually, it's a great way for you just to stay updated with our community. And we actually have a forums challenge, challenges forum channel and there's a ideation and team forming section or post where you can introduce yourself, explain your skill set, and help developers who need your skill set for sure. So let me get that link for our Discord, and looking forward to you joining it. Let's see. We have another question. Is the use of Git simply for sharing files? Yes. So during the submission process, you do need to share your files, whether that's going to be a zip file of your code base or your Git project link, however you decide to share that with us. It's we're only really going to be checking for winners to just see that their app can do what it says it can do in the demo video. And that's kind of it. So if you're working alone, you can use whatever platform you decide to work on. So thank you for that question, Rob. Let's see. Emrit is asking, are we free to monetize the projects in any way you want? Does Niantic restrict this in any way?
Yes, is the answer. You're free to monetize any way you want. In fact, let me just specifically say, like, if you've got some Web3 project, some blockchain-based project, like, go for it. We're not going to stand in the way of what you want to do.
Exactly. I just want to add on to Dan is like, we do not own your code at all. Even if you hand it over to us, we're just checking really quickly if, you know, it really can do what it says it can do. Because with demo videos, you know, you can get fancy with animation or anything. Not saying we don't trust you guys. But yes, you entirely own the rights to your code. We're not going to use it without your permission. We will use your demo video, but that's only like if you're a winner as well.
I should say keep it legal.
Keep it legal. That's the correct answer. And Greg from our comms team will be very happy to hear that. So let's see. Nico asked, we are located in a time zone which is 12 to 14 hours difference with North America. Are we allowed to work with people in our place or other places? Definitely. I think it's amazing if we have an international community. Of course, the time zone may be a bit difficult, but with the internet and the tools we have today, you can definitely work with an international team. We do it all the time at Niantic with our London team, with our team in Germany, all the time. So would love for you guys to make this community international and global. And Sam's asking, other than Discord, I do not know of any other like local communities. Maybe someone is running a, like, I don't know, a meetup group about Lightship. Perhaps you can join our Discord, and we, aside from the challenges forums channel, we actually have sections of like North America, Latin America, like UK, Japan. So if you want to find someone within that region, you can definitely probably ping that region and say, hey, is there a local meetup? I would also suggest maybe go to meetup.com and see if there are any XR communities within your team, and Lightship may fall under that category. But yeah, happy to share more about that later. And it seems like we're at time, so just want to wrap up quickly. And if you have any other questions, would be happy to continue this in Discord, on the support forums, or through email. Please reach out to us. Dan, you can find Dan on LinkedIn as well if you want to stay connected with him. And before I let you go, our team would love your feedback. So if you can take out your phones and scan this QR code and take our survey, it would be greatly appreciated. But just want to say thank you to Dan for being here, as well as our support team in the Zoom Q&A for answering questions, and really can't wait to see what you build. Talk to you guys later.